FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Because you wrote something that I've heard before, but I've never actually seen rolled out. The 1937 Marijuana Tax Act, Hemp, which is environmentally very friendly, could produce fantastic paper, but because of the power of American corporations, this tax act was brought in, but you reveal a number of elements that were unforeseen about what this means. So explain the contrast here.
Well, that element's name is DuPont, but...
well, tell the story, mate. Now you have to tell the story.
Okay, well, the government was, what they have, 6,000 acres of hemp to make hawsers for ships and other military needs and national needs. And
once upon a time, all the sails and the ropes and on shipping and what have you all came from hemp products.
Yeah, it really
very established.
But it also, there's so many things you can do with it. It can be cooking oil. It can burn like gasoline. It's one of the most useful plants on the planet. And therefore, DuPont had to eliminate it because the age of plastics was there, and well, Henry Ford made a car out of soybeans and hemp. And,
is that true?
Yeah, the frame of it, with soybeans and hemp, this whole car. It looked like a car. He bounced the sledgehammer off of it, all this stuff.
Henry Ford was an environmentalist.
No, but he figured it was cheaper to grow soybeans and hemp than steel workers. And there's a famous piece of footage where he hits it with a sledgehammer and damn near kills himself because it bounces back, but the war came along and a bunch of other things and kind of took the attention away from that, and so it kind of died. But hemp was a coming thing. More acres every year were being planted. So DuPont, well, it's pretty easy. First of all, they outlawed it through the Marijuana Tax Act. Any form of hemp, right? Well, hell, that stuff don't even get you high. It's what you make ropes out of.
Yep.
So, but when they passed the Marijuana Tax Act, the purpose of it.
It was classic George Orwell manipulation of the English language for actually industrial purposes, not for any concern about people taking drugs.
No, and so they talked about reefer madness, and my God, teenage girls were ripping off their panties, and Mexicans are coming across the border. The year they passed it, the total amount of marijuana that you can smoke that was seized in the United States, 1.5 pounds. This is a big threat to the nation, boy, I tell you. But they did successfully eliminate the competitors for not just nylon fabrics, but things that would have been plastics and fuels and things like that. Some of it DuPont wanted to make out of wood. Anyway, DuPont was big in silviculture, growing trees, big in all kinds of things that hemp threatened. And so the Marijuana Tax Act was really an agricultural act it's one of many they did that destroyed farmers.
It was using taxation law to protect a major American corporation.
Oh yeah, 200 an ounce. Well, when they were doing the tax, they said, well, how much do you tax it? Well, they had passed the Machine Gun Tax Act, because that was another thing, they kind of asked the public, what kind of a guy needs a machine gun anyway? And they go, oh man, Pretty Boy Floyd, and Mafia. Yeah, let's tax it, like it was a big threat.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, so it was $200 for tax on each machine gun, and the guy says, well, let's just say $200 an ounce. They weren't even sure how much an ounce was. And so then the next thing they did, so you got this. So what if you went to pay your tax? There was no place to pay it. You got arrested.